If you've ever been trauma bonded to someone with borderline personality disorder, you know how painful it is to let go. You keep replaying every conversation, every interaction, searching for the moment it all went wrong. If only I hadn't said that. If only I'd done this. If only I'd gone along with what they wanted. Maybe it wouldn't have ended like this. I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach. And today I want to talk about something that most people don't understand, even those who are going through it. And that's the intense, overwhelming, painful withdrawal period that happens when a relationship with someone with BPD ends. And let me be clear, this period of withdrawal isn't just emotional. This is a full blown body, neurochemical, psychological crash. And at times it can feel like you're losing your mind. But once you understand what's actually happening inside of you, you can start to take your power back. Now, one thing I get asked all the time is, how do I get through this faster? And this is a question I will answer at the end. So please stick around. Okay, so number one is your mind will try to think its way out of the pain. When you're in the thick of the trauma bond, your brain does what it was wired to do. It starts thinking a lot. So, like I said, you replay every moment, every word, every possibility, hoping that if you can just figure it out, the pain will stop. But instead of helping, your thoughts just feed the loop because every time you think of them, you're reactivating the same brain chemistry that got you hooked in the first place. The same emotions, the same stress hormone, the same longing for relief. But here's the truth: the more you think, the worse it gets because your brain is wired to search for patterns, for meaning, and for closure. And when the relationship was filled with emotional unpredictability, gaslighting, and constant contradictions, your mind gets stuck in a loop because there is no coherence. It made no sense and never will. Number two, the pain you're feeling is your body's alarm system going off constantly. When you leave a trauma bonded relationship, again, it's not just emotional pain, it is physiological. So you might feel panicked, you might feel nauseous, exhausted, or you might have a deep sense of dread that isn't going away. You might wonder if something is seriously wrong with you. But this is what trauma bond withdrawal feels like. Your body got wired to survive emotional chaos, to scan for danger, to constantly brace for the next explosion. And that hypervigilance kept you safe. It allowed you to survive. But now your system is crashing. So this is why just moving on doesn't work, because this isn't about missing the person. It's about your nervous system being stuck in survival mode, still trying to manage a threat that's not there anymore. So the ache you feel isn't weakness. It's your body saying, I don't feel safe yet. Number three, your nervous system got chemically dependent on that emotional intensity. In these kinds of relationships where love is tangled up with fear, guilt, and brief moments of relief, your body starts to equate that intensity with connection. The adrenaline of the argument, the dopamine of the reconciliation, it all forms a loop. One moment you're bracing for impact, the next you're being flooded with affection. And that emotional whiplash becomes addictive, not just psychologically, but biochemically. So when the relationship ends, it's not just the person that you miss. It's the highs, the lows, the drama, the intensity, the feeling that something big is always happening. That's why calm can feel so empty, why love might not feel safe. It might feel dull. It's your nervous system that doesn't recognize safety. Number four, your thought can't hurt you unless you believe them. After months, even years maybe, of this emotional turmoil, Your nervous system is raw because it's been trained to scan for danger, to walk on eggshells, to read between the lines. And it doesn't just stop all that because the relationship is over. So when a thought comes in, like maybe it was my fault, maybe I overreacted, maybe I should reach out, your nervous system doesn't treat that like a passing thought. It treats it like a threat, like something that you need to act on immediately in order to stay safe. So remember, your thoughts can't hurt you unless you believe them on their own. Thoughts are just thoughts. But especially when they hit an old wound, like the fear of being unlovable, too much, not enough, your body can react like you're in real danger. So this isn't about arguing with your thoughts or even trying to stop them. It's about recognizing when a thought hits a wound and instead of spiraling deeper into it, gently come back to your body, come back to your breath, back to the truth that you are safe in this moment. This is just your mind replaying the past, searching for meaning, spinning stories, and just know that these stories are creating even more panic. That's the trauma bond feedback loop that you need to break. Number five is that insight doesn't equal relief. So you might understand everything logically. You might know this wasn't your fault or that the relationship was toxic, and yet you might still feel anxious, triggered, or pulled back in. So, if you've done all the reading and researching, you've talked it through 100 times and you're still struggling, that's not weakness or failure. That's just a sign that your healing needs to go deeper than thoughts and words. And this is one of the hardest truths, especially for highly intelligent or analytical people, because you can't heal a trauma bond by thinking and analyzing more. The trauma bond doesn't live in logic, it lives in your body, in your nervous system. So the real work is somatic. You have to get out of your head and into your body. You have to feel it, experience it. But the thing is, we're programmed to avoid pain. So your mind will try to stay busy, stay logical, stay distracted. It will spin, analyze, intellectualize, hoping to think its way to safety. But healing happens when you can sit with the pain without running, without trying to fix it, and without making it mean something about you. Number six, you can't control your thoughts when you're spiraling. So I'm sure you've already tried and you already know that when you're in the middle of a trauma bond withdrawal process, your thoughts are racing in every which way. One moment you're remembering something sweet that they said. The next you're replaying a fight or an abusive moment. Then you're wondering if you're making it all up. And suddenly you're overwhelmed with that familiar ache. Maybe I should just call them this one time. The thing to remember in these moments is that you don't have to try to stop your thoughts or control them. You just have to label them as craving, dependency, addiction, as a trauma response, and then shift your focus back into your body. Number seven, withdrawal fills your mind with fears about the future, but healing only happens in the present. One of the hardest parts of trauma bonding is the way your mind spins into all of these what ifs, all these future fears. What if I never feel like this again? What if they meet the love of their life and are happier without me? And to all this, I say, good. Good if you never feel this way again. It means you're no longer getting addicted to someone else's validation and drama. And good if they're happier and in love without you. This gives them something else to focus on. And it allows you the opportunity to finally turn inward and start rebuilding your sense of self-worth and your sense of self without all of the chaos. It means you are opening the door to new possibilities, including healthy, stable connections and true love. Okay, so if you're wondering, how long is this going to take? Or how do I get through this healing process faster? Just know that there's no exact linear timeline. For some people, it takes a few months. For others, it can take a year or more. It really depends on how long you were in the relationship, how deeply the trauma bond took root, how much contact you still have with them, and whether or not you have the right strategies and tools and are actually using them consistently to help regulate and rewire your nervous system. If you're going through this right now, consider reaching out to a therapist in your area and consider my toxic relationship recovery program that I linked in the description section of this video. If you found this content helpful, please like, comment, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. And to learn more about how to break a trauma bond, please click on the link above.